Hello, Potato, and welcome to another quarantine log. Today I am joined by a new friend. Yep, it's the child. Yes, the child himself. The bounty is mine. He's not what the video's about, but we'll spend a second on him here, shall we? He's very cute. We picked him. He's not from Shop Disney. I didn't deal with them for this. No, we actually picked him up at Target. They had just put him out on the shelf when we were going through for something else. And so we picked him up. And it's a nice little toy. I think it was $25. It's got rubbery, softish rubber hands and head. It's got cloth plush body. I mean, I don't know if you'd really want to cuddle this because of the head. But I mean, it's not super hard plastic. I think they did a fantastic job on those eyes. I mean, look at that face. I think it's pretty screen accurate. I know of course, the... Focus. Nope, not going to focus. Too zoomed in. Well, hopefully that's clear enough. I think they did a really good job on the sculpt. I think the eyes, the gloss on them, I think really works to match the way he looks in the show. Obviously, in the show, he has little hairs and stuff on him, but unless you want to spend $500 on the child, you're not going to get that level of detail. Pip, he's a nice little toy. He's now available, 6 months after the show, and I guess 6 months for the next series. Comes in his little carrier as a box, which in my retail days, I would have hated this box because this is something that really wastes shelf space. It's oddly shaped. You can't pack them in very properly. The hands were actually tucked in when I got him, so I mean he doesn't stick out too far to the side, but the ears do a bit. Yeah, these are things that are not generally pleasant to merchandise, and they're usually thick enough that you can't fill the shelf properly. You either leave a big gap at the back or they fall off the shelf. So let's see what it says in the back here. As one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy, the Mandalorian never expected to be shielding this 50-year-old child from his rivals and enemies. Now you can protect this lovable little creature, just like the Mandalorian does. And then the same, but in French. Interesting that Mandalorian is spelled different in French. That seems interesting to me. Maybe not to you, but it does to me. But that's not the subject of today's video. Although, you probably will tune out after this bit, because the subject of today's video is actually me going through the closet again. No, wait, don't stop just yet. It's not a bin. It's not a bin. There was a box of stuff, and I guess it must have been from one of the KBs in its last days, because I found a couple more of those Tack and the Power of Juju bobbleheads. A whole bunch of these things, which we'll probably discuss at a later date. Seriously, a bunch of them. Booster packs for a game called Creepy Freaks. Some more Toy Club cards. My old Shrek ears. Yes, we had Shrek ears as a promotion from when that came out, and they're actually wired, so you can pose them a little bit. Yes, I wore those at work. I got paid to wear those. Not paid well, but paid. But no, the thing that I thought was interesting is these. The rep manuals from Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. And I don't know which store they're from. I'm assuming they're probably from the one I worked at all the way up to its closing day, because I can't imagine why, well, actually no, I can't imagine why I would have taken it from the other stores, because KB did stop, selling video games, at least new ones, in its last few years. So it may have been an issue that we just didn't need these binders anymore. So I'm going to say let's take a look at these and see if there's anything interesting in them. At least get that early 2000s video game look. Let me reposition the camera so hopefully it gives you a better look of it. So I think this is about as good of a view as we're going to get. So let's take a look at these. So we'll start with the Xbox one, being the youngest of the three. And for some reason it has our cash register instructions in it from KB. Was this... I'm trying to remember if this is the, I think this was the newer system. Yeah, because you couldn't check in and out on your, or you couldn't punch in and out on your timesheet on the original registers that I started with. Yep. So that's not interesting in the slightest, but it's a little bit of KB Toys ephemera. These are pretty thin. I don't recall the reps being particularly good about refilling these. And honestly, I don't think the Microsoft rep came in that often at all. We've got... So I guess this is the original Xbox demo disc. So apparently this was for sale. We sold this at $7.99. I don't remember selling that. I don't think KB did. But it's got demos for a bunch of like those early games. Look at those graphics. Remember when that looked good? We thought that was, ooh, that was the future of gaming. And don't lie, if you were around then, you did. So yeah, it must not be the original stuff, because the Controller S was the smaller one, right? The one that wasn't like for rock crusher hands. I'll be honest, the original controller didn't bother me, but I have, sorry, rock biter. I have rock biter hands. So the original one didn't bother me. I mean, I've gotten used to the smaller ones because, of course, the 360 and the X-Bone versions are basically modeled after this as well, as far as their actual design. For me, though, I'm going to say I think my favorite controller is probably the GameCube. I think GameCube had like the best controller. Yep, information about that. And of course, like the big selling point about this, and I think you're going to see this in the PlayStation binder as well, was that you could play like DVDs on these, I guess. Could you play it on the Xbox? I don't remember. I remember using my PS2 as a DVD player a few times. Like, when we, I guess, yeah, DVD player. But you needed like a separate remote. I guess the PS2 did as well, though, didn't it? Not a remote, a dongle to put on the front, so it recognized the IR signals. But yeah, I think when we first moved into this house, we didn't have cable yet. I did use my PS2 as a DVD player a few times. Halo, the original Halo, the much delayed, supposed to originally be for PC, then eventually for the Xbox Halo. I remember years before it came out, going into like CompUSA, and they had that big like 10-minute long tech demo cinematic thing playing on their demo screens at the back of the store. Back when it was supposed to be a PC game. Blink's a time sweeper. I think that was the one, the gimmick on that was that you could actually rewind time, right? Yeah, control the fourth dimension. So you could like back your mistakes up. And you can tell these are clearly not really meant, these are meant to be more like talking points. If you've ever worked in a video game retail establishment, you get these talking points you're supposed to use to talk up games, because they understand that you probably haven't played them. Most places didn't let you, take games home and try them out. So unless it was a demo of it or you bought it yourself, you didn't get to. Whacked, I think was Whacked? No, it was Arena Combat. I was thinking Whacked was like a Mario Party type of game, but it's not. It's like, what, 4-player combat? And of course, Xbox Live, early online play. I know PS2, I think, had it first, was SOCOM. And, of course, the GameCube, the Dreamcast had online stuff. I never used it because it was like dial-up, and I had dial-up back then. Shenmue 2, I have bought this game like 3 times now. I have this for the original Xbox. I have it for the Xbox One. Yes, I bought that re-release a couple years ago. And I ended up getting it like in a bundle of stuff on the PC through Steam. So I don't know if I've ever actually finished it, though. I think it has that long, like 2-hour in real-time walk in the middle of it. Also, I get lost. Brute Force, Mech Assault. I think I had that game. I think that one was good. I like mech games. This is part of like the Mech Warrior series, right? Battle Mechs, yeah. This is part of that. I think Microsoft like had the exclusive license on them for a while, didn't they? Because I want to say that Mech Warrior on the PC was like a Microsoft release. Fantasy Star Online, probably the only game in here that even if you had an Xbox that worked and had the game, you couldn't play. I'm sure Xbox Live is completely not functional for the original Xbox by this point. Oh, Volume 2 of the demo disc. I don't think we, Howling, this to the lowest. There's an IP you've never heard of since. Did I ever get a sequel? I want to say that did actually get a part 2, but nothing else. Well, even shows you in here, like, what the planned promotional period is, like print promotion, point of purchase, like counter displays and stuff, TV ads. And Xbox Talk from... We have a date on this? 2003 it looks like. Kung Fu Chaos. Mech Assault. I'm pretty sure I had Mech Assault. Or probably still, probably have Mech Assault. It's still around somewhere. But yeah, I don't think we even put... Kakuto Chojin. Wasn't this the game that got recalled for, like, offending people? Had, like, religious content in it or something? There was a couple fighting games that had that issue. One because it had, like, verses from the Quran in, like, a really inappropriate way. And I want to say one of them... I don't think it's... I think the one that did had... The one I'm thinking of now had, like, a thing where it showed, like, breaking bones. But it had an issue with, like, something really offensive about Jesus in it. In, like, the background in graffiti. You can look that up. But, yeah, the old fighting games. Project Gotham. Quantum Redshift. Yeah, this is some video game history here. NFL Fever 2003. Yes, back before EA had the monopoly on all NFL stuff. And other companies could make NFL games. So you didn't have to deal with just, Madden, whether it was good or not. Same with NBA. I don't know if Fever and Inside Drive were any good or not. I don't play sports games. I think I've mentioned before, the only sports games I've ever really played were Mutant League Football and hockey. And then nothing under RPG, nothing under extras. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft was as good about coming to our store as Nintendo and Sony were. Not that these binders look particularly thick either, but at least you can see the Nintendo rep came to our store. A bunch of times. Not necessarily for very long, but generally they would come in, give us some tchotchkes, look at the display, maybe take some pictures, and then they'd bugger off. The GameCube. Yeah, Legend of Zelda 4 Swords. Mario Golf was good. That's the GBA version though, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't play the GBA version. I had the original GameCube one. Which actually was quite, again, oh, so yeah, okay, there's another sports game I played, Mario Golf. I did play Mario Golf. If you can call golf a sport. I mean, it's athletic to a degree. It takes talent and skill, but then again, so does fixing a TV, and we wouldn't call that a sport either. All the official Nintendo websites. What might be fun to go through and see how many of those are still in operation. If you can see these on the screen, this is a good place for you to pause and go do that. And see how many actually work. I think I had Crystal Chronicles. I think I enjoyed Crystal Chronicles. It looks familiar. I don't know though. I don't know for sure. But I think I'd have to look through my old game collection, which is in 2 or 3 different places around the house. Of course, the Wavebird wireless controller, back before that was standard on all systems. The Wavebird I think was the best one out for a while. Because it actually worked. It wasn't, a lot of them were infrared. Line of sight, like your TV remote. So if you didn't have it pointed directly at your system, it just didn't work. I think I had the Game Boy player. Again, still have. I have it somewhere. If I had it, I still have it. Don't think I ever played Rebel Strike. I did Rogue Squadron. Was it Rogue Squadron? I think it was Rogue Squadron. I like that one. I liked getting to fly around the AT-ATs and trip them up. 1080 Avalanche. Pokemon Channel. I had this one. This isn't so much a game as just an activity thing. You had your... Oh, speaking of little virtual pets, I do still have Pocket Pikachu here. And he's eating his lunch right now. Yeah, haven't gotten a lot of steps in today. But I'm still going with him. Still going with him for a little bit. But I think one of the big things on this was that it had a 22-minute cartoon in it in 3 or 4 parts called the Pichu Brothers. It didn't feature any of the other Pokemon, but it was the same style of animation, everything. No dialogue, just the Pichu Brothers. I think there might be some other Pokemon in it. I do remember playing with the coloring book. You could there were limits to what you could do with it, but you could make some interesting stuff. You had no way to print it out or anything like you would now, but you had it. Yep, that was a fun little game, little activity. It's a game in the same way like Seaman is a game. It's not really. I wouldn't say it's even as deep as Seaman. Now that was an interesting experience. I feel like I had this game, but I really honestly don't remember if I had it or if I just saw like that much promotion for it that I think I had it. Maybe I'll look around at some point. The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, yeah, I definitely don't have that. I think I may have like the demo disc, and I know I do have that. I guess I have that, not that Majora's Mask. Maybe it's that one. I know I have the N64 Zelda because I guess I have it twice. Because I found I think I may have this disc though. I think I may have snitched one. I think we had more of them come in than people had pre-ordered. So I think I do actually have this Zelda demo disc somewhere. But at some point, fun at some point to get my GameCube out and try to hook that up. See how much it still stands up. But then I'd have to come and look for more of a gaming channel and learn how to do capture from the TV, and that would be difficult. That would be more work. Frankly, I'm at this point still too lazy to even put up my microphone and get a way to get that to work because it doesn't plug into this camera. This camera does not have a microphone jack, unfortunately. So I would have to record on another device. I know I had that one, Final Fantasy Tactics. That was... I like those tactical games like Jagged Alliance, and I've been playing one recently called Chroma Squad, inspired by Saban's Power Rangers. Yes, that is like the full official title of it. And it's a fun little game. It's one of these little pixel art games. I'm not a huge fan of this faux retro thing in games. I didn't mind it at the time. I'm not a fan of doing it for the sake of doing it. I know I had an e-reader because I remember doing the Animal Crossing cards on it. Because you could unlock little patterns and things for Animal Crossing. I know I had an advanced cable. I think Animal Crossing used that too. I think Animal Crossing was like the game that used basically every add-on you could get for the GameCube. Was used in Animal Crossing somehow. Because remember, there was like a special island you could go to on the Game Boy. And I know it used the e-reader. I don't think it used the Game Boy adapter though. Because what would you use it for? Oh, we have some, what is this? Oh, games that use the advanced cable. Batman, Prince of Persia, The Sims busting out. Any Sims not on a computer is generally not a good Sims. I had a Sims game. It wasn't busting out, but I had a Sims game on I think the DS, and it was awful. Harvest Moon. That's a classic one now. Predating things like Farmville. You had Harvest Moon. Yep, I think I had some of the game cards too for the e-reader. I didn't know Pokemon did anything with them though. I wonder if I have any Pokemon cards that have e-reader. I'd have to like dig out my old Game Boy and stuff too. That'd be a lot of searching to do something with that. Game Boy Advance. Yeah, this is pre-DS. Not all returns are as they were. Now that was a huge issue. Not so much color swapping, but people would try to like replace, well, like it kind of like it says here, substitution. Not so much that, but trading up. I remember one time somebody tried to bring in a PS2, and yep, serial number didn't match up. Box was open, which is already kind of a no-go unless it's defective, which they were saying it was. And we opened it up, and the PS2 in there clearly was not new by any stretch of the imagination, which is why the serial number didn't match. And it looked like it had basically been chewed on by rodents. Perhaps the hamster cage was the home of this PS2, because the controllers were all like, the rubber was gnawed off the thumbsticks. There was just visible caked on dirt. Like, I think the stuff in my closet is dusty. Nah, that's nothing compared to how this PS2 looked. We have tack in here? By any chance? No. Either The Sims 2004 working title. That's a nice name. Baten Kaitos. That sounds vaguely familiar. The old Lego games before they made good ones. Interesting how the Sims is under T for the and not S for Sims. Well, I guess it could be... No, it is T because the Lord of the Rings is under T for the. Not before Madden for Lord. Interesting. Yep, there's our Nintendo binder. Finally, here is our, probably the oldest of them, the PlayStation binders, because I think that was, that's got GameCube on the cover. I think this may actually have gone back to PS1, although I don't know that there's any PS1 stuff in it. I think that stuff got tossed. We've got a I can speak today. We have a Summer Catalog 2003, the Crash Bandicoot series, the Spyro series. Remember when those were big games? I should be getting those on the computer too. I don't really care for them, but they came as part of my Humble monthly. I like Humble. Okay, I mean it's a lot of dreck in there, but get your money's worth out of it if you get a few games you like. I don't think any of the PS1 versions of the wrestling games were any good. Twisted Metal was good though. I love Twisted Metal. I think my favorite, and a lot of people who like Twisted Metal probably won't like me saying this, but I like Twisted Metal Black. I think the best of all of them. The PSP one wasn't awful either, but I think Black was my favorite one. You have just all the games. Crazy Taxi. I had that for the Dreamcast because Sega. But that's not really a full price kind of game if you think about it. Great in the arcade. Gets a little tired quickly at home. Simpsons Road Rage. Yes, what if you did GTA, but in Springfield? Also, that fun little game. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do anything else like that. I think the Simpsons... Was it Simpsons movie game? Or was it just the Simpsons game for the 360? I think it was like the last one they did. For Simpsons games. Well, they have that microtransaction free-to-play app game, but I'm talking about real games. Yes, I'm going to make a distinction that those aren't real games. The iToy, I had one of those. Yep, they never did much of that. That's just a thing that's never gone very far with game systems, is it? I guess because you need so much space and a lot of people don't have that room. But yeah, the iToy, the Kinect, I have both versions of the Kinect, the 360 version and the Xbox One version, because my Xbox One came with it. And yeah, they just, those have never managed to catch on. Maybe because gaming is otherwise such a sedentary thing, but the Wii caught on. And the Wii was, it wasn't like that, but it required a fair bit of space and it was active, so I don't know. Jak and Daxter games. SOCOM 2. Yeah, this is one of the ones that had the online, but I think the original SOCOM had online too, didn't it? You had that. I didn't have that. I did not have the modem. Yeah, I didn't have. That's the modem, right? No, what is that? Yeah, that's the modem. I never had the modem for the PS2. Dark Cloud was a fun game. I don't remember if I played the sequel or not. I have a standee. Oh no, I have a standee for the original. I thought it was for the sequel. It's for this one. Just not the greatest hits version. But yeah, there's a lot of overlap between PS1 and PS2. I think more so than you really saw between 360 and Xbox One. There was a lot of time, I think a big wodge of overlap when they were still making games for the older system. And so they really don't do that so much anymore. I guess they really just want you to buy the new system. The old one they used to, we already have this built-in player base. Let's keep making games for it, but not so much anymore. Yeah, I didn't have a hard drive. 40 gigabytes. That would have been huge back then for a gaming console, especially as small as the amount of stuff you needed to save for the PS2. I mean, the memory cards were, 8 megs? And you could store, tons of games on those. A 40 gig hard drive, you'd never need a memory card again until the hard drive failed. The multi-tap. Never had one of those because I don't have friends. You have to have friends to need a multi-tap. The screens. the DualShock. Because remember, the original PS1 controllers weren't didn't have the vibration and stuff on them. DualShock was the PlayStation controller is another good one. I think it's kind of where Nintendo may have really cribbed for the GameCube controllers. They took the PlayStation version of the controller and just really upgraded it. Wow, all the old UPC codes. Yeah, we would never have used those, but it's cool that they're there. PlayStation, the leading video game console. Yep, here's our little talking points memo from them. PlayStation accounts for approximately 2 out of every 3 next-generation video game console sales. Can we get rid of the word next generation? Once your system is out, it's this generation. The generation is here. It's only next generation when it hasn't been released. I hate that, like Xbox One and PS4, next generation gaming. It's been out for 3 years. It's not next generation anymore. You're working on the next generation now. This is this generation. Maybe give you a year. You get a year of next generation, and then you are this generation. Next generation is in the future. You know, when you're at the counter being served, you don't call yourself next in line. All right, maybe that's not a great comparison. Remember hint lines? When they charged you money before the internet, where you just would look it up for free. Also cheat books. That's why you don't really see cheat books so much anymore, because you can just go online and some fan will have produced a walkthrough for free, and then 25 websites will have stolen that walkthrough and posted it as their own. I never did this with my PS2 minute stand-up. I know that was meant to look all iconic and, 2001 obelisk, but I also always heard that it could damage your discs, and I wasn't that dying for space. Yep, here was the remote for the PS2, and yes, I was correct. You did need the little dongle there to receive the infrared signals, because nothing was cordless back then. Nothing was cordless. Memory cards. Remember having memory cards? Depending how old you are, you may not. Something happened to your memory card, it would just, your games are dead. I mean, I guess it's the same thing as a hard drive failing now, but still kind of heartbreaking. Plus, the neat thing on the PS2, at least, I don't remember if it was that way on PS1, but on PS2, if you just looked at your save information, each game would have its own little icon in there. And sometimes it'd be animated and 3-dimensional, and they were really cute. You don't get anything like that nowadays. Here's how to find serial numbers for all these different systems and things. The warranty. We never had a lot of issue with the PlayStation's breaking down. Third-party licensed peripherals. The fishing controller. That was a thing for 5 minutes. The GunCon. I had a bunch of those Namco GunCon games. Time Crisis, and I think it was a Ninja one. Those were fun. You don't see those anymore either. I wonder if they just don't work on HD TVs, or maybe we're just past that. I don't know. I guess the rep didn't come in that often, didn't. Okay, so yeah, this was the store. No, this was our downtown store, I think. Because that's where I worked with Stephanie. That was our downtown, because this is from our downtown store. So this must have been, I must have taken these with me when we discontinued carrying new video games. Because Stephanie worked at the downtown store. And yep, that's it. There's a little trip through console gaming counter binders. If you wanted a closer look at anything, by all means, pause the video, and hopefully the pictures were all clear enough that you can see. And that will wrap it up for today. Yep, a little longer than the last couple days, but I thought these were a neat little thing to to document for posterity. That's what I wanted to say, to document for posterity. So, until next time, please remember to practice your safe social distancing, wear your mask out in public, and wash your hands properly, and stay healthy so that I can see you in the next video.